Now, let's talk about the creative content world. That's exciting. I've been talking about creation and creative content since the beginning of this. Now, let's dig into this one. What is so different about this environment and why we need to understand that in a better, so we could be, first of all, less stressed about the whole situation, but also be more capable of being functional within this model. So let's look at it from a high-level model first, like we did on the traditional content, and then we'll dig into each piece separately so we could have a better understanding of each piece. So at the top of the pyramids, we'll be talking about, in the traditional content, we looked at the top as the project management methodology to drive everything. On this one here, creative content, we'll be talking more about a merger between project management and communication management. Why? Because although we're going to do the same in terms of planning, we have to. It's, at the end of the day, we need a budget, a schedule, a quality, risk. All of this needs to be part of our planning. But when we're going to be time to control the execution, we might not have the same looking at each of these activities and how much we're spending per activity, etc., in the same fashion. Why? Because of the change that will come so fast and furious that, the plan will going to get, turned into different pieces. So that means from a communication perspective, we need to take some picture, and we call that milestone at certain time and say, okay, we should be here. No matter how we got there, we should be here at that time. I should be able to see, the music composition, at least a first version of the costume. I should be able to see that at this time in the project. Why am I versus this? And try to assess where do you stand versus a certain, milestone in time, a certain picture where you should be. A lot of this is derived by our past experience where we know, T minus 6 months, T minus 1 year, T minus 2 years, we should be there. So we know we have a chance of meeting it and we shouldn't be too off on the budget, etc. So those are pictures that we're taking. And how we get there, well, sometimes, it's like the plan. Sometimes the plan is out the window and we get there in a different way. And sometimes you take the picture, we're not even close to be there. So now we know we need to fix this and quick. So that's the way we'll be looking at that. So, people that say, are you doing earned value management? Not really. Okay, so I guess we could, but we're not going to spend too much time about this. So we try to look at, are we there? Okay, so 6 months before I open a show, I should have a theater that is clean and ready for my creation team to come in. We're not there, we got a problem. Okay, so we got to deal with that. So those are the kind of things we'll be looking at from a methodology standpoint. Now, if you're looking at people, which is the other part of the triangle, and we're going to call that creative capital. If you remember on the traditional model, we were talking about human capital. Now we're talking about creative capital. It is different. It's a different bunch of people. So in traditional content, we were talking about education. Here, we're not going to look at education. We're going to be looking at talent. What do you bring to the party? What kind of things you can do? Okay. Are we going to be talking about education with you? Probably not. If we got an interview with you, we'll go through, what is it that you can do? We'll see what you can do. And it's like, okay, that's great. You're in. Or, oh, by the way, did you go to school? That would be the last question, right? So the point is, talent is what we're looking at, right? And it could be talent in IT. It could be talent in technical. It could be talent in performance. It could be talent in management. It could be talent in finance. I mean, we're looking from a talent perspective, okay? What can you bring to this creation? And that's going to be the mindset of pretty much everybody. So the whole education is replaced by talent management. We'll get into more detail in the talent section. I have a section just on this one. Also, second thing, diversity. Well, if you want to have great ideas, great views, you cannot have the same people from the same region speaking the same language from the same culture. If you bring people from different culture, different language, you're going to have different ways of looking at the same thing, and that's what you want. If you're going to be doing something amazing, if you're going to do a good creation, diversity is good. Okay, people, it's like, oh no, we don't have too many discussion. You want these discussion. You want these people that doesn't see the world the same way as you do. So bringing people from different nationality, different culture, it's something that absolutely we invite in our project, in our production, and it's part of creation. And if you go to any of the creation companies that are big, you're gonna see people from all over the world there, and they will welcome them in there. And sometimes because people, they know things or they have discovered certain things that there's nobody else that has. So diversity, important piece. We'll get back to this on this one. Bohemian factor is something, for those of you that read the book, The Rising of the Creative Class, I think they're talking about a Bohemian factor. When I read the book, it was very eye-opening to see this factor being brought in. People that does not necessarily live the same way as everybody else, okay? They call them Bohemian. They might not have the same agenda as you. They might dress the same way as you. They might not eat the same thing as you. They have a different ways of living, and those also are welcome in our project. That's why if you come to a big company, you're gonna see people, wow, all kind of people, right? Body piercing, people dressed with suit, people dressed with funny hats, others with red hair, people with piercing. I mean, you will have all kind of peoples that do not necessarily follow the rules, and therefore it's okay, we welcome them. Okay. Now let's talk about organization. You know, in a traditional content model where we're looking more like, you know, process, best practice, you know, tools and techniques. Here we're looking at creative agility, the ability to be able to move quickly with creative content, to be able to readapt, to shape things, to try different things, without having to fill up 50 forms and going to a lot of approval. That's what we want, because creation, you know, goes in the spark of the moment. A lot of people want to do, of course, you know, you're not going to take down a building to try something, but if we need to go and buy something just to try it that is still within the budget, we don't need forms, let's go, let's do it. We want to get into a mode where we quickly can experiment and find different things. So for that, the spirit of entrepreneurship is there. We encourage that. We create teams where we give them a lot of autonomy, so you could go out there and pretty much, you know, find the best way of doing it is as if it was your business, okay? So entrepreneurship, we'll get back to this one into another section. Social technology. A lot of the traditional content companies organize their technology very well. They got the Microsoft things and server and things like that. Our people in our organization, we're open to anything in terms of social technology. Our guys are really quick of going on Facebook everywhere to try to find better way exchanging with people. They would go and try apps, try different things. They might not follow your IT rules. So we'll get back on this one too, because it's a big problem for some people. They say security, virus, and things like that. But at the end of the day, you could get a lot of different things you didn't know just by experimenting with new technology, very quick, with very cheap. And, you know, honestly, there's a lot to be done there, and that's part of the creation. And the last one, authenticity. Our people don't like to be imposed templates or being told, this is the way you're going to do it, this way, this way, this way. They like to develop their own ways, right? And if they don't like this way, this boring way, they want a creative way of reporting or giving you a status, well, they will do it. And we'll get back to that one. So it is a different environment. When you put them side by side, you see the difference. Now let's get into each one of these bubbles that I have there to describe the creative capital and the creative agility.